Welcome back to the course on symmetry, stereochemistry and applications. In the previous two lectures, we have tried to understand the various symmetry elements that a molecule can have, and we have tried to show you how you can find out different symmetry elements present in a given molecule. So, that is not the end where we stop our understanding on the symmetry. So, when we try to find out the symmetries present in a molecule, what we try to do is we try to identify those symmetries using some name to the given symmetry, and that name is called the molecular point group. So, the point group of a molecule represents all the symmetry elements that are present in a given molecule. So, the point group of a molecule describes the symmetry elements present in the molecule in a systematic manner. We should identify the symmetry elements present, and based on the hierarchy of those symmetry elements, we then identify the molecules and classify them in different point groups. So, in this lecture, we will try to understand how those point groups are assigned using a given procedure. The symmetry elements of a molecule is first identified in this process in a systematic method, and then the point group is assigned. So, how we do that? We can understand this using a very elaborated flow chart which is shown here. So, what you can see here is flow chart where all possible symmetry elements and the classes of point groups are identified. So, when we get an object, we should start asking questions about the symmetries present in the object. So, when you look at one object, the first point that one asks whether the molecule is a linear molecule or a non-linear molecule. If the molecule is linear, we move towards the left. If the molecule is non-linear, we move it along the right. So, this is similar to a family tree. If the molecule is linear, we then ask another question, the next question, whether the molecule has inversion center or not. If the molecule has inversion center, we move along this line and identify the point group as D infinity H. If the molecule does not have inversion center, we then write it as C infinity V. We will see these with appropriate examples. Suppose most of the molecules what we see are non-linear, and in case of non-linear molecules, we then look for different symmetry elements. For example, first thing that one should look for whether we have two or more Cn axis where n is greater than 2, which means we should look for whether the molecule has a C3, C4, C5 or any other higher axis. And if the molecule has two or more such axes, like more than 2 C3s or more than 2 C4s and so on. If the answer is yes, you move down along the left hand side. If the answer is no, you go towards right, and then we slowly go and find out the point group. As you can see in this slide, I am not going to elaborate so much here because I am going to take some examples. Then when you do not have two or more Cn axis with n greater than 2, we come to the next question. Is there a major order axis Cn? So, does the molecule contain a Cn? Does it have a C2, C3 or C4? Only one of them should be present. If the answer is yes, we come down. If the answer is no, we go towards the right. When the answer is yes, suppose there is a C3, we ask whether there are 3 C2s which are perpendicular to that C3. So, if you have a C3 present in a molecule, do you have 3 perpendicular C2s in that molecule? So, if the answer is yes, you move along the left. If the answer is no, you go down and ask the questions one after another that are written in these boxes, and then we end up in various groups of sets of point groups. On the other hand, when you say that there is no Cn, that means there is no C2, C4 or C3, C4 and so on, then we ask, does it have a mirror plane? If the compound has a mirror plane or the molecule has a mirror plane, the answer is yes, you go down this way. If the answer is no, you go down that way, and you end up getting these 3 point groups. So, we need to keep this flow chart in mind for your and our easy reference. In the following slides, I have kept this chart in a smaller version, and then I have taken those molecules for which we have already determined the symmetry elements in the previous 2 classes. So, from our previous knowledge, if we take the molecule water, the first question that is asked is it a linear molecule? The answer is no. Water is not a linear molecule. Water is a bent molecule. Next question, does it have 2 or more Cn where n is greater than 3? Clearly, water does not have C3, C4 and so on, it only has a C2. So, the answer is no. Then we ask the next question, is there a major axis Cn? Yes, the molecule has a C2, which is drawn like that. This is my C2. The next question asked is, does it have, so when it has C2, we come down this way and ask, does it have 2 perpendicular C2s? The answer is no. So, we come down this way. So, when we say that the next question asked is sigma h, which means if you have a 2-fold and a perpendicular mirror, that perpendicular mirror is your sigma h. And in this particular case, there is no sigma h. So, when there is no sigma h, we further go down and ask whether there are n number of sigma v's. Of course, water molecule has 2 sigma v, as we have learned in the previous lecture. So, this is 1 sigma v, and the other sigma v is the perpendicular mirror plane, which is containing the C2 axis. So, water molecule has 2 numbers of sigma v. So, this molecule has C2 and 2 sigma v's, the answer is yes. So, we move towards the right and write the point group as C2V. You see, the way I am writing is capital C, small 2 as a subscript and V also as a subscript. So, C2V is the point group of water. So, now if I try to find out the point group of ammonia, for you it should be very simple. What ammonia is? A pyramidal shaped molecule with the lone pair here, and in the previous class we have understood that it has a C3 and it has 3 sigma V's. So, it is very similar to water, only thing is that it has a C3 axis. So, the point group of this molecule should be C3V. Now, let us try to see what happens when it is the case of BF3. The way I am drawing BF3 is one boron and fluorine are on the plane of the projection. This fluorine is above the plane and the other fluorine here is below the plane of the projection. So, this axis is C3. So, I have C3 Next question is asked, does it have 3 perpendicular C2s? The answer is yes, because this axis is a C2, this axis is a C2 and that axis is a C2, and all these 3 C2s are perpendicular to the C3. So, the answer is yes. So, the next question is, does it have sigma h? That means, is there a mirror plane perpendicular to the C3 axis? So, in this case, yes, the molecule has a sigma h that we have already seen in the previous class. The molecular plane is the sigma h. Therefore, the point group of this molecule should be, from there we come down this way and then we come down this way. So, in this case we have got n number of C2s perpendicular to C3. So, 3 C2s perpendicular to C3. We come to the left, we have asked a question, this is sigma h, and that sigma h makes it DNH, that is D3H. I leave this molecule for you to understand and find out the point group, because this will be very similar to BF3. Let us try to draw the next molecule, which is benzene. What is benzene? How many symmetry elements are present here? What you can see is that the molecule has a C6 passing through the center of the ring. So, it has a C6. Now, the question is, does it have 6 perpendicular C2s? So, the answer is yes, because it has 1 C2, 2 C2s, third C2, fourth C2, fifth C2 and sixth C2. So, it has 6 perpendicular C2s. What else? So, the question is, does it have sigma h? The answer is yes, it has sigma h. So, the point group turns out to be D6H. Similar to BF3, I just took this example because here I could show that there can be 6 perpendicular C2s in a molecule. Remember, these 6 perpendicular C2s are perpendicular to the principal axis C6. Let us go to the next set of molecules. Cis-1,2-dichloroethane. Very quickly, I would like you to remember from the previous class, when we discussed this molecule, we discussed that there is a C2, this molecular plane is a sigma v, and the perpendicular plane containing the C2 is other sigma v. So, it is like water molecule. So, by symmetry it has the same symmetry like water molecule. So, therefore, the point group is again like water C2V. Now, what about the trans compound? The trans molecule is different. So, if we write the trans molecule like this, you can find out what symmetry elements that are present. So, in case of trans molecule, There is a C2 which is passing through the center of the bond, but perpendicular to the plane of the projection. So, that makes the rotation this way, and chlorine goes and falls on the other chlorine, hydrogen goes and falls on the other hydrogen. What else does this have? This has a plane which is the plane of the projection, that is a mirror plane, and that mirror plane is perpendicular to C2. So, it is sigma h. So, directly we see that between these two molecules there is a significant difference in symmetry, and the point group for this trans 1,2-dichlorocycloethene would be C2H. C2V for cis and C2H for the trans molecule. So, cis trans isomers would have different spectroscopic properties because of difference in their symmetry. What about 1,2-dichlorobenzene? Once again, we should try to draw the molecule and try to find out the symmetry elements that are present. By adding 2 chlorines on benzene, what we have done is we have destroyed the C6 symmetry. So, it does not have C6 symmetry anymore. So, what symmetry does it have? It is clearly visible that this is a C2 bisecting the molecule. The plane of the molecule is a sigma plane, and that plane contains the C2 axis. So, it is sigma v. Then a plane that I am drawing using a different color is the plane which is above and below the plane of the projection, like that. So, if you have the benzene molecule like this, one mirror plane is like that and the other mirror plane is like this, both containing the two-fold axis in the middle. So, this one is also a sigma v. So, once again this dichlorobenzene is belonging to C2V point group. What about 1,4-dichlorobenzene? I leave that to you by for your understanding. I am just going to draw the molecule for yourself. Try to find out the point group of this molecule. Now comes that famous molecule called allene. In the previous class, what we have seen, by drawing this allene inside a cube, this allene has 3 perpendicular C2 axes. If you do not remember how it was drawn, maybe I should draw it once again here for your immediate understanding. Always we try to draw a cube and then we draw this allene molecule inside the cube, so that one can easily understand the presence of 3 perpendicular C2s in this molecule. So, I have drawn the cube in yellow and I will draw the hydrogens and the molecule in green. See, what I am doing is I am drawing the hydrogens at the alternate corners of the cube, and I have 3 carbon atoms forming a chain like that. The bottom carbon atom is connected to these two hydrogens. The up carbon atom is connected to those two hydrogens. So, this is the molecule allene drawn inside a cube. Now, if I try to draw the symmetry elements, there is a C2 which is passing through the center of this cube and passing through the CC bond is one C2. Then there is one C2 which is passing from this center through that carbon and going to the other side as another C2, and the third C2 is passing from the front center to the back center is my third C2. So, now this falls in a category where we have a C2 like this, we have two perpendicular C2s. So, we come here. Now, the question is, does it have sigma h? The answer is no. None of the C2s have a perpendicular mirror plane. If you have a perpendicular mirror plane, then that hydrogen should come here and this hydrogen should go there and the molecule would change its direction. So, when we see that there is no sigma h, the question is, do we have sigma d? Do we have at least two sigma d's? The answer is yes, we have sigma d's. Where are the sigma d's? The sigma d's that we have are shown here using this blue color. This is a sigma d which bisects these two C2s. There is a sigma d here which bisects the other two the same set of C2s. So, we have two sigma d's bisecting C2s. Therefore, the point group turns out to be D to D. Remember, when we have n number of perpendicular C2s, it becomes D, and depending on whether we have sigma h or not, whether we have sigma d or not, it can be dNh, dNd or simply dN. This molecule is a complex cation, and we have drawn this molecule in the previous class. So, I will quickly draw it in the way I had drawn it in the previous class, taking the nickel at the center, drawing a triangle about it and drawing an inverted triangle about the same nickel, identifying that these two triangles are at two different levels, and then we write the nitrogen atoms as we had written in the previous class and join those two nitrogens at a time, making it ethylene diamine ligand. So, what are the symmetry elements that we found in the previous class in this molecule? The symmetry elements that we found are the following. We have C3, which is obvious, which is very easily seen, passing through nickel and going through the center of these triangles. Then what we have? Do we have three perpendicular C2s? Yes, the answer is yes. We have a C2 here, we have a C2 there, and then there is a third C2 passing through the center of the molecule. So, it has C3 plus 3 into perpendicular C2s. So, we have already come here and the answer is yes up to that. Now, the next question is, does it have sigma h? The answer is no. Next question is, does it have sigma d? The answer is no, because sigma d means the mirror plane should be between two C2s. So, suppose this C2 and that C2, there should be a mirror here which does not exist. So, there is no sigma d. That means, when there is no sigma d, we come here and write this space point group as D3. It is a Dn point group. Now, I have written two molecules for which I would like you to find out the point groups yourself. We can again draw these molecules for your understanding. Platinum, it is trans. So, we have 2 chlorines at trans position, 2 ammonia at trans position, like that. And when it is cis, we have platinum with 2 chlorine atoms on one side and the ammonia molecules on the other side. So, what are the symmetry elements present in these two molecules? We have already discussed in the previous class. You try to find out the point groups of these two molecules. We will start the next lecture from here. Thank you.